Okay. Let's go. How is everybody doing on this fine 23-degree Monday? Monday? Yes, Monday. That's right, because the stinking bowl was yesterday. The stinky bowl, the stupid bowl. The worst Super Bowl I've seen in quite some time. So, how's everybody doing, huh? We don't have much hockey. That's okay. We'll get there. I think the first game is on the 11th. I believe that's one of the games with Finland we're going to cover. So that's good. And so let's check the chat since we don't have any scores or anything like that. Hey, David. Excuse me. Yeah, there you go. Just saw this on my way in. If we're getting some guys back and if Sasha is available for the playoffs, then we fight till elimination. But if we don't believe Barkov's returning, and others are hurt more than they are saying, I'm okay with resting guys and gearing up for another 2 or 3 cup runs starting next year. That seems like a pretty good take on it. Scientist says, I say shut it down, draft high, take advantage of the new salary cap, and be a juggernaut next season. Speaking of the new salary cap, later on this afternoon, somewhere between 5 and 6, I'm going to have a decent length of a video out going over the possibilities for the Panthers roster next year, the cap implications of if we do this, if we do that for next season. We've talked a lot about this year, but we may also need to start putting that one pink eye towards next year. Hey, Bucks, how you doing, buddy? Craig says there's no guarantee injuries won't happen next season, and with teams coming up that are younger, there's no guarantee this current team ever makes the playoffs again. Have to do it all while it's possible. I don't know about not making the playoffs again, but I get it. Sometimes teams, it'll happen. Hey, Bucks thinks it was the worst halftime show ever. I disagree because we turned on like the AKC Dog Championship highlight thing. I'm not usually one for dog shows, but it was kind of fun. It was actually kind of fun. Colin says, up, Jaws. Been watching some of the reruns and stuff of Olympic events. It's pretty interesting to see all the different events in your opinion. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch much. The day off that I took on Saturday turned into a leak in my water softener. That's what happened with, remember Friday, say I'm going to take a day off finally. Well, that's what I did. And then I woke up and I went downstairs, let the dog out, and there was water all over the basement. And so that was my day off. Yeah. A Real says USA lines are practice. Eichel with Kachuk and Kachuk. Matthews with Boldy and Gensel. Larkin with Thompson and Connor. Nelson with Miller and Hughes. Trocheck and Keller are the scratches. All right, well, top of the line's pretty good. Pretty good. It will be interesting to see how Matthew performs on a line with Brady in this circumstance where physicality is not as prevalent as, in Olympic hockey. The defense is Hughes, McAvoy, Faber, Slavin, Werenski, Sanderson, likely goalies is Hellebuck. Okay, so obviously no Jones, right? That's a ding, no doubt. Colin says, besides that, no interesting hockey update yet because I don't think everything is official for Lions and G pairs. You did see that Team Finland wants to keep E2 and Lundell together on the third line at least. Sounds good. Are they Lundell's on the third line for Team Finland, even without Barkov? That's interesting. Forsling, Dahlin will be the top pair. Great. So Forsling can get no rest again. Real says, saw Canada practice lines yesterday. They split up the big names. McDavid, Celebrini, Wilson, McKinnon, Marchand, Suzuki, Crosby, Stone, and Marner, and Horvat with Hagel and Reinhardt. Good God. Good God. It's wild that, I mean, your fourth line's got Hagel and Reinhardt on it. We're the USA, man. Good luck to us. Little J says if we get everyone back after the break, go on a tear, make the 8th seed, play Tampa, then Barkov comes back and the Bolts will look at it gas. Boy, I would love that version of events. I would love that version of it for sure. Yeah, exactly. Scientist got a good point. I wouldn't mind Reinhardt getting fourth line minutes. He needs all the rest he can get. That's a good point. Kenneth Walker and Sam Darnold did the classic. We're going to Disneyland. Hey, Bex. Jelly says, tank immediately if they lose the first 3 games after the break. I would agree with that. If they lose the first 3 games, they're cooked anyway. Marco says, Mr. Jaws, why both Kachucks are being put on the top line with Eichel over Matthews and Hughes? I think they just are separating things out by guys that are likely to play well together and not necessarily who would be considered better at the NHL level. That would be my guess. Is they're probably looking at, specific matchups, especially against Canada, and guys that are going to work well together rather than just going like these are the 3 best. Michael says Morton Jaws the day after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday. Right? Like it always, what I don't understand, I'll tell you, how they managed to make Thanksgiving on Thursday where everybody goes and gets just gut stuffed and didn't make Friday a national holiday so that, these poor people that have to do Thanksgiving and then go to work Friday morning, like it just feels purposefully abusive. You know what I mean? Like there's no rational explanation for that. Marcus says, what you don't understand is Kachuk will be getting much play on the top line, and Panthers only have. Oh, no doubt, no disagreement there, Marco. I completely agree there. But at this point, he's there, he's going. So, I just all we can do is hope for the best outcome, right? Craig, oh yeah, Team USA is solid, but on paper, Canada's ridiculous, right? Hey, Runwood Kings. Yeah, Shines. Matthews was the captain at 4 Nations too, right? Craig says, I rewatched the 2014 USA-Russian shootout. What a classic, but Bob gave up 5 holes like crazy. Right now, Panthers only have a 3.5 chance to win the lottery from McKenna if they don't tank. Now, that's not necessarily untrue. You just never know. Maybe there's a possibility. It sounds kind of funky, but maybe it would still be worth getting that pick back as an asset to trade maybe during the offseason if we were going to look anywhere to upgrade, right? Like it doesn't have to be McKenna. You could trade it to a team that wants to increase their odds of getting McKenna. You know what I mean? Real says, Tank Commander Petrie will make sure we complete mission objective, inquires Harden McKenna. The Islanders at 3.5% last year. That's a good point. Yeah. Robert King says, I don't think McKenna is going to be as good as people think he's going to be. it still is kind of a crapshoot, right? Hey, Nano, you vote for Tank? Lechka says winning the lottery would be hilarious. We're so liked already. Oh, definitely. Yeah, we would be everybody's favorite then. Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice if the league could hate us anymore. That's a good point. Cole says Ethan Belchitz is 6'5", 227, projected around 7th. All right. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, look, you can still get good, obviously good players in the top 5, right? Didn't watch the halftime show, Bucks. Kyle and I put on a dog show. Yeah, Dangle's head would genuinely explode. Yeah, Dangle with a 3-hour-long video if the Panthers get the top pick. Oh, it would be fun. Craig says McKenna under the wings of Bennett and Marchand would be hilarious, and that's true. That's very true. Bob says got to be careful if the players feel like management is tanking and they have to play out the year. It could hurt team chemistry into next year. I suspect it could cause a possible divide. Like you'd have to get everybody on board. Yeah, like you said, players never tank. GMs sometimes do. The coaches is caught in the middle, right? I mean, I think it just depends on how we come out. I don't even know if they could purposely tank. You know what I mean? Davis says the Sharks are at 5%, Blackhawks 7.5%. Those should cause more outrage if they win the lottery than Florida. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Mick says, has any team won the draft lottery after winning back-to-back cups? I can't imagine that. If the Panthers pull that off, the genuine hatred for the rest of the league would be unmatched. I can't imagine. Only a couple of teams have even missed the playoffs, right? Now, Trent says, would you call up Black for a few starts if we're out of it? Yes. Well, did we ever get some kind of update on Tarasov? Because if we did, I didn't see it. Let me see here. No, I haven't heard any injury update. Has anybody seen anything? Because that obviously is going to play wildly into the situation. No update. Run says you want to tank, don't bring Barkov back. Maybe say Marchand is still hurt and don't bring him back. Healthy scratch Bob, bring your weakest prospect goalie. Well, Barkov can't come back to the playoffs anyway. He can't come back to the playoffs anyway because of cap constraints, even if he was ready. Davis says Vancouver blew up a perfectly good team just to beat the lottery. They were literally about to make the finals until multiple injuries struck. There's been a plethora of teams that have panicked, right? But it's hard to look at it from the outside sometimes because you don't know the intricate pressures that each team faces. You know what I mean? It's like anything, like a relationship. It's like the straw that breaks the camel's back may not seem like it's the worst thing in the world, but it's all the carnage that came before that really caused the panic. Bob, yeah, he says that if they gave some guys some extra rest, it won't feel so bad. I could see shutting down Marchand for a stretch. So we come back, and we got the Leafs, Sabres. We got the Leafs and Sabres back to back when we come back. Like, any discussion of making the playoffs starts with 2 regulation wins in those games. So that's why the situation with Tarasov is so interesting, because we don't know right now if he's even possible. Bucks, I don't think they're going to do much of anything at the deadline, to be honest with you. We've gone over 1,000 times because of the financial aspects, but you start to get to a situation where there's so many injured guys out, and there's only one guy left, that's Barkov, that's supposed to be out for the rest of the regular season. Maybe Nosek too, but I'm not even counting him. So you go acquire somebody at the deadline, you're just blocking a player that you want on the ice already anyway. That's going to be coming back from injury. So I think under the circumstances, I don't really know what would even be out there for us to do that would improve our position to the point where it would be the difference between us making the playoffs or not. Like, if we, at this point, when everybody comes back but Barkov, when it's, when Jones is back and Gadjevich is back, I'm not even sure 100%. It just depends on the roster, who's coming off the ice when Gadjevich comes back. Bob says, Carolina getting Bussy is payback for Forsling. Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. But that is dead on. That is really good. That's a really good observation. Chucky already has his mean face on in practice. James Pear Jr., the Falcons facing 5 years in prison. Yikes. Nano says, summary of the season, the Panthers are battle-wounded alpha lion, fending off the hyenas, awaiting his demise. That's kind of accurate. Hey, Goffy Gwen. Scientist says Cooper Black kind of shut out in his last game. That's right. Yeah, no, I would have no problem bringing him up. We're going to need a goalie. We're physically going to need somebody. Unless they're going to come back from the break and play Bob both games, I wouldn't put that past us either. You know what I mean? No, Hungry. I did not see Eichel's comments about the Kachukins. I did not see that. Yeah, Carolina also had E2. But that was a fair trade, though, right? Like, we nabbed forcing off waivers. They took Bussy. At least the Canes eventually got something. I wonder what they eventually got for Trocheck. Real says, until Carolina sweeps us in the playoffs, they haven't gotten back anything. You're not sold on Black being in the future. Yeah, no, we got to see him at the NHL level, right? You got to see the guy play some games, which is tough in our situation, which kind of, if we do decide, with 10 games left, if with 10 games left, we're 8 points out, you're still talking about 2.5, 3 weeks of basically knowing the season is over. At that point, you start shutting some guys down, give Black some starts, and just let him play some hockey and see, how far away does he feel he is. Runwood King says, I'm sure McDavid is happy with what's going on in Florida. He probably thinks this is his year now. Yeah, that's really Yeah. Hey, Goat Slayer says, Jaws, I hope you didn't mind losing the ice cream bet last night. I give the Cats 5 games to make the determination, but if they decide to tank due to losses, I say bring up our behemoth goalie. So, Leafs and Sabres, you have to win those games. And then after that, we have a little bit of a run here of games that are not necessarily against any of our bigger rivals. So after Leafs and Sabres, you've got a road trip of Islanders, Devils, Jackets, Wings. So, depending on where the Jackets are, we still could be competing against them. But those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, that takes us to March 6th, which is the trade deadline. So you're really looking at those first 5 games: Leafs, Sabres, Islanders, Devils, Jackets. The reality is, out of those 10 points, if you don't get at least 8 of those 10 points, and including regulation wins against the Jackets, Sabres, Leafs, I mean, you almost have to go 5-0, but anything worse than 4-1, and you could pretty much pack it in. Like, we've just put ourselves in that position where at every 5 games we have to at least go 4-1. Genetically augment them like Khan from Star Trek. Been seeing people wanting Wallstedt. You can see why, but you're very much in the middle. So I think we looked at this here. Yeah, we looked at this last week. I mean, obviously the numbers, the age, but what you would have to give up. I mean, you figure he is, I mean, this is the first year he's done it, right? Even being as a backup. The first 2 years he didn't play a whole lot. There's not a lot to go by there. All right, Hungry. What did you send me, bud? What did I miss? The chat's going so fast I can't see it. But I'll go look. Hold on a second. Hey, Rick says the Panthers need defense. When you have this cut down, you cut down on the high percentage shots, keeps them out of the crease, and it's not happening. Oh, no disagreement. If Forsling for Bussy was a 1-for-1 trade, who wins that trade? I mean, right now, Forsling, right? 2 cups, right? Gold Slayer says, I plan on being tanked for the Leafs game myself regardless. Yeah, and don't forget that Tampa keeps feeding them single points. Yep. That's very true. They've been giving up points to the teams we've been chasing. Did we screw up not to pick up Stamkos? No. To be honest, unless you were adding like 5 guys with fresh legs, I don't think there's anything that was really going to change what happened this year. You sent me the Eichel quote. Okay, great. All right, hold on a second. Let me get to that email. Oh, boy. Later on today, about 5, 6 o'clock, I'm going to have a video out going over the cap implications and all of the roster stuff possibilities for next season. And that's why, like, some of the moves like Stamkos and everything, when you're talking about a guy that's got term, right? It changes things a little bit. All right, let's see. What did Eichel say? He said, I think they probably pushed their beds together. If we hear someone go through a wall in the middle of the night, probably we know where it came from. That's Eichel on the Kachuk brothers. I think they probably pushed their beds together. If we hear someone go through a wall in the middle of the night, probably we know where it came from. And Jack Eichel, when asked about the Kachuk brothers rooming together, that's great. That's great. Gwen says Stamkos left the conference all around to avoid facing Tampa. Plus, from what I know, Stamkos bought a house in Tampa like last year in September. He's planning on retiring soon. Yeah, the thing with Stamkos for me was the term. And it's not necessarily just about the numbers, and that's something I'll talk about in the video today. Roster size at some point does become an issue. We've got too many guys that we would want to keep. Like, there's guys that are on this team right now that we would like to keep, but next year they will not be here because we simply don't have the numbers of the roster spots. And so we're gonna be stuck in another Sordiff or Marchand type of decision, probably with guys like Vilmanis and Schwinn, where they're obviously, Sordiff was obviously ready to be an NHL player, but whatever roster space he was going to take up was removed when we signed Marchand. Yeah, you can definitely see them going stepbrother style and making bunk beds, right? Vic says, I'll still say the Atlantic is giving each other at least overtime for extra points to push us out. Honestly, it doesn't, not a big conspiracy guy, but, it's a little bit suspicious there. We'll just put it that way. What about now? What was I seen somebody saying something? Oh, the Tampa trade rumors are heating up today. I mean, Tampa, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't make more of a play for Panarin. I mean, apparently Panarin only wanted to go to LA and turn down a decent amount of money, I think, from the Capitals. Okay. That's really interesting that he turned that money down. He only wanted to go to LA, but he only took the 2 years. Not sure. Unger says it makes more sense than the Campbell Parros one, right? He says, I don't think it's a conspiracy for Atlantic teams to try to force Florida out. We won while being the bottom seed in every round last season. Can't risk even giving us a wild card spot. Well, no doubt. Scientist, I saw the tweet. I saw the McAvoy's tweet. I saw the picture, but I'm not sure if I remember. Did he make separate comments? Because I just remember seeing the picture, and I just retweeted it. And my response was the picture of Fluffy holding the 2 cups. I haven't checked my responses. That's really the only thing I have left to do on Twitter is every once in a while I'll go there, find something that I would like to respond to by showing the picture of Fluffy with the 2 cups, and I do the quote treat, and I put the picture, and then I run. That's it. That is my entire MO on Twitter right now. I just find stuff that I want to say 1 cup, 2 cups to. I post that picture, and then I ignore all the responses. David. Florida man says, don't want to sound like a prick, but nobody's worried about Florida this year. Your defense isn't hanging like it used to. Yeah, I mean, nobody's worried about Florida right now because we're not hitting anybody. I know we have a lot of hits, but we're not hitting anybody. You know what I mean? We don't want to do it. Like they're tired, they're sore, they're burnt out. You know what I mean? Now, if we were at full strength, especially with Barkov, missing Barkov just changes what you can do. I mean, we could have gone a little bit more run and gun, a little bit more like, open up the offense a little bit, especially with Bobrovsky not being perfect this year. Like we might have been able to be like a 6-5 team. I ain't saying we're going to win a cup that way. But when you take the exhaustion and the injuries, you just get a position where there's just not much Maurice can do. Like I said the other game, like there's 3 minutes left. We're down a goal, and the line is Schwint with Vilmanis and Greer. Like, I like those guys, but there's reasons why they're on the ice now in big minutes, and it's because guys like Reinhart and Bennett they're baked. I don't want to say they're cooked because cooked is done. They need a nap. Lightning says the Panthers aren't unskilled, they're out of gas. We of all people should know when a team is out of gas. Right. Yeah, Dave says people started freaking out before our most recent losing streak because it looked like we were back in the race. Well, there was that 3. Chuck came back when Marchand was still gone. Then Marchand came back, and while Chucky was still ready, fresh and ready, and Marchand was strong from that injury, coming off the injury, we won 3 straight. And then the wheels came off. You know what I mean? Marchand got hurt again. Who else got? Well, we missed Lundell for a couple of games too, right? That was probably the nail in the coffin. Real says, I get the Vilmanis hit was bad, but I lost a lot of respect for McAvoy. He and his team have been dirty for years, and he wants to cry online because he got hit by a rookie. Give me a break. Yeah, I mean, the hit wasn't great, but I don't know. It just seemed like a crybaby response. Like you're a hockey player, you know what I mean? Handle that shit on the ice. Like posting pictures of your face like that on Twitter. I mean, it doesn't necessarily bother me all that much, but I could totally empathize with the people that feel like that's kind of immature-ish. Roma King, this season is showing exactly how valuable Barkov is to the 1,000%. 1,000%. What was you saying, scientist? He did a diary-like blog on his thoughts. That I didn't see. He said, whatever happened to the NHL can stay in the NHL. We'll handle that whenever we get there. That's interesting. But then why did he put it? If what happens in the NHL stay in the NHL, then why are we talking about it on Twitter? That's a little weird. There says, yes, many on the Tampa bandwagon. I just hope they don't end up being the team to allow the Canes to the finals or the Oilers to win a cup. Yeah. For all you Tampa fans, Exactly. That is exactly it, Tampa. That what David just said, what he said. If Tampa becomes the team to let the Canes get to the finals or the Oilers win a cup, your trash talking privileges shall be revoked. Exactly what David said. You want to talk all big and bad? You're the big brother now. That's fine, but you better back it up. If you lose to the Canes or the Oilers, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing. It would be funny if they look, if the Avs were to win, right? Like you guys, we got 2 cups too. We can talk loud. That's true, but you guys can't lose to the Canes or the Oilers. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's almost as embarrassing as you guys lost to Toronto in the playoffs. But we'll let that go because I understand when you're out of gas, you're out of gas. And you guys weren't talking shit then. So that's fine. We'll let that go. But you can't get all the way and then you can't let Edmonton win. You can't let Edmonton win. Okay. That would be. So here's a question for you Tampa fans then. Would you rather not make it to the Stanley Cup Finals or make it to the finals and be the team that finally lets a Canadian team win? Which one would you rather be? Just forget about it, or you go and you let the Oilers win and you have to live with that the rest of your lives? Which one would you rather have? You guys want the Avs. Yeah, I understand that. Right. Yeah, you guys had that. Yeah. With your defensive coach. Completely understand that. You'd say rather not let a Canadian team win. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, can't do that. Can't do that, man. So yeah, that's where we can agree. You would rather not be in it. Right. See, that's where we can agree. Right? That's where we can find a common ground. Oh, God. Olechka just said it. If the Leafs went on a heater, I mean, the Leafs are closer than us, right? The Leafs have 63 points. I mean, the Leafs are closer than us. It's a slog for any of these teams. At this point, you know, the Bruins, I kind of expect them to hang on, but the Sabres, I mean, they finished things losing 2 in a row there. They're the team, in my opinion, the Sabres, as this drags on and it becomes more real, there's more of a potential from Buffalo to get. I don't think Boston's not going to, an 8 seed. You know what I mean? They've got enough veteran experience on that team. They wouldn't choke up an 8 seed, I don't think. But Buffalo's not exactly been there, done that. You know what I mean? In terms of Detroit, I don't know. They're right there, 72. They got an extra game played. We did look at the Red Wings schedule, and it's not easy when they come back. Sens, Hurricanes, Preds, Knights, Panthers, Devils, Panthers, Lightning, Stars. And then they do get the Flames, but then they go right back to Canadiens, Bruins, Sens, Sabres, Flyers, Penguins, Flyers, Rangers, Wild, Jackets, Flyers, Devils, Lightning, Panthers to end the season. Like the Detroit schedule is an absolute abomination. You could look at their last 25 games and pick maybe 4 that you say they should probably win that game. And the rest of them are like, that's a good team. That's a good team. So Detroit is another one, but they're a little bit further ahead. Like it's 72 points. That would take a hell of a choke job. Here comes Lightning, says Yzerman is a false prophet. The Yzer plan is the Antichrist. So, I mean, that is one thing that could happen. But just as much as you could say maybe the Wings will fall off, maybe the Sabres will fall off. Like, if the Leafs finished off things winning 3 in a row, like if the Leafs were to get their shit together, there's no guarantee that, they couldn't move up. I mean, the Sens made it last year. It's really any of those teams, and then you still have to look at the Metro. Islanders are at 69 points. There's no guarantee there. And the Jackets entered the conversation. The Capitals are there. That's pretty much it. Flyers are in the same predicament we're in. They got an extra game in hand, though. Like, there's really only the Rangers are, and I guess to some extent the Devils. Like, the Rangers and the Devils are really the only 2 teams that you really look at and think, that's not going to happen. Lechka says, I trust the Sens less than the Leafs to make it. Yeah, I would agree there. Bucks, what I'll say, Bucks, is if the Panthers don't pull off some miracle, Tampa Bay, if they don't at least get to the Stanley Cup Finals, they choke somewhere. Because absent a fully healthy Panther team, there's nobody that Tampa should be losing to in the East based on their experience and Vasilevsky. If they lose, something went wrong. David says, I kind of want to see the Leafs lose in the Stanley Cup final. Would be great if they got there only to get smoked by the Avs. That's kind of mean, though. Like, I know you mean it because it's mean, but, Leaf fans are people, too. Maybe I should write a book that says Leaf fans are people, too. I'd probably do pretty well for myself, actually. That's actually a pretty good idea. I think I'll do that. So if anybody tries to steal my title, I said it here first. Yeah, Leaf fans are people too. Lightning says, I'd like to point out one thing. If Bobcat is hiding an injury, you can just effing tell he might have a minor groin injury. Interesting. Hadn't thought about it. Hadn't thought about that. But it's not impossible. Hey, Miami Sports, you're watching some hockey before the men start playing on Thursday. I got Sweden women hockey team winning the gold over Canada. I think it's Wednesday, right? I think the first game, United States is Thursday. The first games that we're covering are Wednesday. I think it's Latvia versus Finland that we're covering here. Let's see. Slovakia versus Finland. So the first game, Wednesday at 10:40 in the morning, we're going to be live streaming Slovakia versus Finland. The later game is Sweden versus Italy. I don't want to make Call do 2 games a day right now. And we obviously have more Finnish players on the team. You think Bob is playing a lot like Ben Bishop post groin injury? He's hiding something. I mean, that would make some sense. David says there is nothing standing in Tampa's way in the East. Yeah. Unless there's some miracle from the Panthers, they just should not be losing. In my opinion, anyway. Florida Man says playing in the bubble had its benefits and personal drawbacks for players plus condensed seasons. I think on time they'll look back at how crazy it was. Yeah, I mean, it's different. I don't know if you make it harder, easier, just different. You know what I mean? Like, especially the first one because, well, COVID, the season just stopped and there was all that time off, right? So, like, normally in the playoffs, you've played 82 games or ish, depending on how many games you played that year. And then, boom, you're right into the hardest part of the season. But with the COVID, you stopped, everybody got rested, everybody got healed and healthy. And then you went into the playoffs, and the intensity just wasn't quite the same because there's nobody in the building and all of that. And so the physical and mental toll was different, but I don't necessarily know if it was. I mean, in that moment, it wasn't easier because everybody was in the same position. You know what I mean? I think it just was different. Lil J says, but the Canes are going to have motivation. Us and Tampa have smoked them in the playoffs. That's true. Hungry. Ronwood King says, least fans meaning people's question. That's it. That's going to be my new book. Lechka says, Jaws don't. LOL. Dangle and his team are basically shitting on the Panthers and the fans now almost. I know, but I got an $800 electric bill. I got to, you know what I mean? It's like anything I can do to make a buck, I'm going to do it. Yeah, USA's first game is against Latvia. Vilmanis might be in the top line, and that's going to be fun. Yeah. David says, one good thing, if Tampa goes out in the first again, we might get to see Bruins versus Habs. That would be fun. It's a shame we might not get Marchand versus Boston. I mean, maybe next year. Leafs Nation is a cult. Now that I know, Hungry says Dangle is grasping at any straws he can to save his dwindling sanity. I know. I saw they put out a short from the podcast talking about they're all giving Forsling grief for doing the extra punches. But I will say that the majority of the comments were calling them out for saying, hey, look, like, yeah, Chucky did this, but that Moser was just basically egging Forsling on and begging for it. And so the chat didn't let them get away with it, so to speak. Lechka says, according to SDPN, we are disgusting, and they feel for Boston and Tampa, and that only Panther fans defend their team. Oh. Lil J, yeah, he brings the E2 vibes. It's like a clone. And it's not like Lundell, who's Baby Barkov. Like, let me see. E2 is 6'3", $191. And Vilmanis is 6'1", $192. So he's 2 inches shorter, but he pretty much weighs the same. So, a little bit stockier, but pretty sturdy. And at 22, at 6'1", $192, he can probably get that to 205. He can definitely get that at 10 pounds heavier. So, yeah, very, 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 very much reminds us of E2. Yeah, I got you, Lechka. Right, exactly, because Boston and Tampa have been so clean over the last decade, right? Oh, you guys crack me up. It's okay. It would still, I mean, it would make a good book, though. You know what I mean? It can make a good book. Interesting. It's an idea. Just saying. Huh. Okay, it says, I need you to show this thing I saw yesterday, but I don't know if you'll be able to find it. An Italian free skater did a routine yesterday to the Jaws theme. Oh, man, I can't show it on the live, though. I can't show it on the live. If it's copyrighted and I'm doing it live, they kill the stream, remember? And the bots now, they're crazy, the copyright bots. Did I see how the Olympic rules work for the group stage and who moves on to the next round? No, I did not, Real. Is it not just the standard, who wins and who loses? Is there something else? Like, does it matter, like, goal differential and whatnot? Gwen says, here's my take on the Leafs. They haven't won the cup since the moon landing. They probably will win it again after we discover warp drive and battle Klingons and stuff. Oh, and time travel. Leshka says, I embrace this reputation the Cats have. They also scoff at us saying that this is the South Florida flair, but it's true. This is South Florida attitude, swag, demeanor, whatever it is. The sun makes us nuts. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was wondering what was going on out there. Right. So you don't trust the Canes, and Colorado loses to Dallas every year. Why should we trust them? Each team plays 3 games to structure the seeding. From there, it's 1 game per round elimination. Okay. All right. Yeah. So like the first game is Slovakia, Finland, and then Thursday is, where the hell is it? Yeah, Latvia, United States, a lot of games on Thursday. Switzerland, France, Finland, Canada, Czech, Canada, Latvia, US, and Germany, Denmark. They even have a couple games going on at the same time here. That's interesting. Huh. And then they play again Friday, right? Or is it Saturday and Sunday? US plays Saturday and Sunday. There's back-to-back. They play Denmark on Saturday, and then they play Germany on Sunday. Yeah. There you go, David. The day the Leafs win the cup, the sun is going to nova and we're all going to die. So there's 3 groups, 4 teams. Each does a round robin. The 3 group winners and the next best team get a bye for the next round. And the other 8 teams play 1 playoff game to move on. Okay. So it's likely then that, like, when we first come back, those elimination rounds probably won't include, like, the United States and Canada, because they'll have a bye, is what you're saying. Ron King says, not trying to be an a-hole, but I don't really get the hate on Florida. Florida is one of the least popular teams in the league until they started winning cups. I do believe some of it, Run with Kings, is politically. I do believe some of it is political. Florida associated with Trump and his antics with Canada and hockey being a mostly Canadian sport, there's going to end up being a bias towards anything with Florida in the name. You know what I mean? Even if it's not political to those people, it's almost like if you're in Canada and you like Florida, you might not be the most popular person, or at least you want to make sure you stick with your group of people. Is that the women's U.S. versus Switzerland? I guess. I mean the women's. What did I say? Yeah, run with Kings. Hey, Derek. He says it's because there's so much other stuff going on. Plus, many from here are from somewhere else. That said, I've seen games in Boston, Detroit, and Denver, and the crowd at Sunrise is as loud as any of them. Yeah. Dave says the Florida hate was spread by Leafs fans after the We Want Florida massacre. Teams dismissed it as nonsense until they were mad we won 2 cups. Yeah, I forgot about that, but that's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point. I had forgotten about that part, about the We Want Florida thing. Yeah, I remember that, David, about Oilers fans accusing the Panther fans of calling and threatening Skinner's children. I know. And then it was wild because it came out that it was actually Oilers fans doing it. But yeah, I remember that. Jen says, I hate to say it, you aren't a real Panthers or Bolts fan if you don't like each other. I don't know. I think that's kind of new now. To me, it's just just depends on the experience you've had with people. You know how many Lightning fans are members on this channel? You know what I mean? Eric says, the only thing that makes me feel good about this season if the Lanks also tank unironically. And do they still have a first? Do I remember Toronto? Do I remember Dangle saying something about them not having a first? Or was that my imagination? Oh, David, in terms of the reasons why Florida has that reputation, I don't disagree, or I don't pretend to know all the details. I don't disagree that I'm sure some of it's not as earned as it is thought to be. But in terms of how people react to it from Canada, whether or not their reasons are justified or not, they're still reacting that way. You know what I mean? Chances are the 4 nations teams and maybe Czech and Germany get the bye. Right. Yeah, okay, so they don't have a first. Right, which, yeah, I get it. Boy, wouldn't that piss them off if how about this as a consolation, Panther fans? So if we're not going to win the cup, we end up in the lottery with Toronto. And even though we both have lousy, horrible odds, they don't have a first, and then we end up with our first, and then we win the lottery. Like, what if you think the Campbell conspiracy is a thing now? Watch us win the draft lottery. Okay? The Leafs it belongs to Boston. Leafs only have 3, 5, and 6 next year. Damn. So they're worse shape than we are, but at least we got 2 cups to show for it, right? There's something where Boston gets the Leafs pick from the Minton trade. Oh, okay. Depends on how the Leafs finish, right? Can't have the. Oh boy. Yeah, the NHL fans would lose their mind. Oh wait, whose pick is top 5 protected? Toronto. Hey Simon, how you doing, bud? Well, unfortunately, Simon, my prediction was inaccurate because I thought the Patriots would win. Hey, Mike, can I give you a brief synopsis of what happened? Here, I'll give you the best part of the stream right here. The best part of the stream is Jack Eichel's quote when they asked him about the Kachuk brothers rooming together. He said, I think they will probably push their beds together. If we hear someone go through a wall in the middle of the night, we probably know where it came from. That was Eichel's quote when they asked him about the Kachuk brothers rooming together. Other than that, it's just been your normal hodgepodge of going over the schedule. And some people think we should tank. Some people think we shouldn't. And then Panther fans and Lightning fans somewhat getting along and somewhat fighting while I laugh about it. that's your synopsis. There's no games to talk about, right? Derek, I think Kachuk, give it another year or two. We've looked at this before. Come on, give me his contract. There it is. So it ends at the 27-28 season, runs through the 27-28 season. So he ain't leaving this year. Now, next year, probably not. Now, when you get to his last year, 27-28, if they haven't won, then maybe it's possible, right? Sure thing, Mike. Women's hockey right now, Germany, 41 shots, 1 goal. France, 14 shots, 1 goal, 1 minute left in regulation. Sounds like a Panther game. Sounds like a Panther game. Just say he won't re-sign and won't waive. They'll send you now or never. Does he have a no trade? Hold on a second. He doesn't have a no move. Oh, wait. No, there it is. Yeah. The first 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons he didn't have. But yeah, he does have a no move clause. Yeah, and it's a full no move too. But, when he is in his last season at 27-28, he's only going to be 27 years old. He's going to get paid. Simon, Mike, the other thing we did a little bit at the beginning of the stream was we looked at a little bit of the lines for the United States hockey team. Apparently, Eichel and Kachuk are the top line. Simon, my prediction for the Olympics, if I'm betting money, I wouldn't bet against Canada. Like, I want the United States to win, but I wouldn't. If I had to place a bet, I would place it on Canada. Do I think the Kings would do better if Bieber went back to Toronto? They can get something with him now or barely anything next year. Well, I think he's making 8.2, but that's in Ottawa. Like, the cap is going to be going up so much, like you could give him, $10 million and it wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, you got to figure the odds are they want to play together, right? So we'll see. Hey, Vincent, No, I'm still. Well, Vincent, I'll tell you what. So Vincent said, I thought you're on vacation. What's up? So I took a day off on Saturday. I hadn't taken a day off in a long time when you factor in the noon streams. And I woke up and I went to take the dog outside, and there was water all over the basement because the water softener decided to bust. So that was my day off. So I figured I'll just stop taking days off until I can go fishing. It's still solid ice outside. I can't even do anything. So I got a video coming out a little bit later. In fact, I got to get ready to go. I got to walk Donna out. I got a video coming out about between 5-6 o'clock. That's going to be a look at the salary cap situation for next year. Players that are already on the roster, the money that we're going to have, you know, what it's going to look like with Rodriguez, without Rodriguez, all of the guys. So I'm going to be using that tool the scientists made for us, and that's what I'll be doing. Yeah, exactly, Vincent. I'm not allowed. Like, I didn't even get I literally spent all morning on my. I mean, I was soaked. I had to empty the freaking water softener because it's pressurized. So you couldn't even. You turn off the water to the house was the only way to freaking. She's getting ready to go. Yeah. So, all right, I got to roll. I want to say goodbye to Donna as she's walking out. Thank you all for hanging out. The vote, Vincent, was mostly to tank, especially if we don't win the first 3 to 5 games. That's pretty much what we decided. So Cooper Black and the whole deal. So, all right, everybody, appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I got to roll. I'm going to have something out between 5 and 6, and it'll be a little bit lengthy. And till then, and I'll be back tomorrow at noon. Yeah. Oh, tomorrow night on the men's channel as well. That's right. Tomorrow night I'll be live on the men's channel. So I'll look forward to doing that. We'll hang out. Don will be at work, so we'll have some good time. All right. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you again later.